Imagine being placed in a situation where every second matters and every choice carries a heavy consequence. You are not watching a story unfold, you are inside it. A runaway trolley is speeding down a track, completely out of control. Ahead, 5 workers are unaware of the danger approaching them. You try to stop the trolley, but the brakes have failed. Panic sets in. Then, suddenly, you notice another track branching off to the side. On that track stands a single worker. You now have a choice. Do nothing and allow 5 people to die, or intervene and redirect the trolley, sacrificing 1 life to save 5. This moment is not just about action. It's about morality, responsibility, and how we define what is right. Most people, when faced with this scenario, instinctively lean toward saving the greater number. It feels logical, even compassionate, to minimize loss. Choosing to redirect the trolley seems like the better option because fewer lives are lost. But beneath that simple calculation lies a deeper moral question. Is it truly acceptable to actively cause harm to one person, even if it saves others? This dilemma forces us to confront the uncomfortable truth that sometimes doing good involves making a harmful choice. It challenges the way we measure morality, not just by outcomes, but by intentions and actions. Now consider a slightly different version of the same situation. This time, you are not the driver. You are standing on a bridge overlooking the tracks. The same trolley is approaching the same 5 workers. But instead of a lever, the only way to stop the trolley is by pushing a person standing next to you onto the track. That person's body would stop the trolley, saving the 5 workers, but at the cost of their life. Suddenly, the decision feels very different. Even those who were willing to pull a lever hesitate here. Why? The outcome is the same: 1 life lost, 5 saved, but the method changes everything. This shift in reaction reveals something important about human morality. When the harm is indirect, like pulling a lever, it feels more acceptable. But when the harm is direct, physically pushing someone, it feels deeply wrong. This suggests that people do not judge actions based only on results. Instead, they also consider how those results are achieved. The physical act of harming someone creates a stronger emotional and ethical barrier. It introduces the idea that intention and personal involvement matter just as much as consequences. This leads to a fundamental divide in moral philosophy. On one side, there is the belief that outcomes are what matter most. If an action leads to the best overall result, then it is the right action. On the other side, there is the belief that some actions are inherently wrong, regardless of the outcome. According to this view, certain moral boundaries should never be crossed, even if breaking them could lead to a better result. These 2 perspectives form the foundation of many debates about ethics, law, and human behavior. To explore this further, imagine a doctor in an emergency room. 6 patients arrive after a serious accident. 5 have injuries that can be treated quickly, but 1 patient is critically injured and requires all of the doctor's time. If the doctor focuses on saving the 1, the 5 others will die. But if the doctor treats the 5, the critically injured patient will not survive. Once again, the dilemma appears. Should we prioritize saving the most lives, or should we focus on the individual in front of us? In this scenario, many people choose to save the 5 patients. The reasoning feels consistent with earlier thinking: maximize survival. But now consider a more disturbing situation. A surgeon has 5 patients who each need a different organ transplant to survive. A healthy individual walks into the hospital for a routine checkup. The surgeon realizes that this one person's organs could save all 5 patients. Should the surgeon sacrifice the healthy person to save the others? Almost everyone rejects this idea immediately. This reaction highlights a powerful moral instinct. Even if sacrificing 1 person could save 5 lives, deliberately harming an innocent individual feels unacceptable. It crosses a line that many people believe should never be crossed. This suggests that morality is not just about numbers. It is also about respect for individuals, their rights, and their autonomy. The idea of using someone as a means to an end creates deep discomfort, even when the outcome seems beneficial. These examples reveal a tension between 2 ways of thinking. The first focuses on results, what ultimately happens. The second focuses on principles, what actions are acceptable regardless of the outcome. This tension is not just theoretical, it appears in everyday decisions, from personal choices to public policies. It shapes debates about justice, responsibility, and what it means to act ethically in a complex world. One approach to resolving these dilemmas is known as utilitarian thinking. This perspective suggests that the right action is the one that produces the greatest overall happiness or benefit. It treats morality almost like a calculation, weighing pleasure against pain, benefit against harm. According to this view, saving 5 lives instead of 1 is clearly the better outcome. It provides a straightforward way to make decisions in difficult situations. However, this approach has its limits. While it works well in some cases, it struggles in situations where achieving the best outcome requires violating deeply held moral principles. For example, sacrificing an innocent person, even for a greater good, feels wrong to many people. This suggests that human morality cannot be reduced to simple calculations. There are values that people are unwilling to compromise, no matter the potential benefits. Another perspective emphasizes duties and rights. According to this view, certain actions are morally forbidden, regardless of their consequences. For example, intentionally harming an innocent person is considered wrong, even if doing so could save others. This approach prioritizes moral rules and principles over outcomes. It reflects the belief that some boundaries should never be crossed. The contrast between these two perspectives creates an ongoing debate. Should we focus on maximizing overall good, or should we respect moral limits even when they lead to worse outcomes? There is no easy answer. Each approach has strengths and weaknesses. What makes these dilemmas so powerful is that they force us to confront these competing ideas directly. Philosophy plays an important role in exploring these questions. It challenges us to examine our assumptions and think more deeply about our beliefs. It does not always provide clear answers, but it helps us understand the reasoning behind different perspectives. In doing so, it encourages critical thinking and self-reflection. However, this process can be unsettling. When we begin to question what we once took for granted, we may feel uncertain or uncomfortable. Ideas that once seemed obvious become more complicated. This is one of the risks of engaging with philosophical thinking. It can disrupt our sense of certainty. Despite this discomfort, the process is valuable. By examining different viewpoints, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. We become more aware of the principles that guide our decisions. This awareness can lead to more thoughtful and informed choices. There is also a temptation to avoid these difficult questions altogether. Some people argue that morality is purely subjective and that there are no right or wrong answers. While this perspective may seem appealing, it does not fully resolve the issue. Even if we disagree, we still make moral judgments every day. The fact that these questions persist suggests that they are an essential part of human experience. They may not have simple answers, but they are unavoidable. Whether we realize it or not, our actions reflect our beliefs about what is right and wrong. Ultimately, the purpose of exploring these dilemmas is not to find a single correct answer. Instead, it is to deepen our understanding of morality and the factors that influence our decisions. It is about recognizing the complexity of ethical choices and the importance of thoughtful reasoning. In the end, these scenarios remind us that morality is not always clear-cut. It involves balancing competing values, considering different perspectives, and making difficult choices. While we may never fully resolve these dilemmas, engaging with them helps us grow as individuals. It challenges us to think more deeply, act more responsibly,